Dave Refson, Jerry DiNardo, Howard Griffith on the final stop of our preseason tour in 2013, Iowa City, Iowa. The Hawkeyes coming off a disappointing 4-8 campaign. You'll be able to see the entirety of our show on Iowa on August the 25th. But, guys, a sneak peek on that. What will it take for Iowa to get back to being a good, solid, competitive team again this year?
Play to their strengths, and I would say that their strength on offense is their offensive line, their running backs, wide receivers, but they have to be explosive on offense as well to get back on track, and that's going to have to come from the quarterback position. If they don't settle on the quarterback position, and if they don't get good quarterback play, there's just not much margin for error, Howard. So the quarterback position, undecided yet, but it's obviously going to be critical.
Consistency is one word that comes to mind, is what they need to be able to do. If they're not able to make some of those explosive plays down the field in a consistent manner, they're going to have to be able to continue to move the football. So it means they need to have success on first and second down, and then third down being a manageable situation, so it's just not a pass rush drill. So now you're keeping the defense off guard, and you don't know whether it'll be a run or a pass.
It's interesting because we talked to two players, Mark Weissman and Anthony Hitchens, and they both mentioned that word, Howard, consistency, which gives you a sense there might be someone in the front of the room using that same word too, right, guys? In terms of the explosiveness of this team, this was a real issue last year. They just didn't have a lot of big play threats on the flank. They weren't very explosive in the run game. Do you see the potential to improve on that this season?
Well, until they name a quarterback, it's going to be hard to see it. I mean, you could see it on the grease board, and I think everyone knows this is what happens in this type of offense. But watching today's practice, I think until they decide on a starting quarterback, it's going to be hard to see exactly how that's going to unfold.
Well, I know one thing. When you talk about having a young quarterback, whoever it's going to be, having a security blanket of a strong running game and an outstanding tight end and C.J. Fedorowicz is going to give them a big target and able to throw to someone underneath at times. And I think they'll be hitting a lot of check down, so look for the tight ends to catch quite a few balls, and also the running backs coming out of the backfield.
And just 3 passing plays of 40 or more yards last year. That was the fewest in the Big Ten. They had only 7 touchdown passes all season. Some of that points to the explosiveness on the flank. Some of it points to the quarterback position. We've touched on a little bit. They haven't named a starter yet, but based on what you saw, it seems like Rudock is in the lead, certainly taking the snaps with the number ones. Is he a guy you think can help add to that explosiveness?
Yeah, I thought Jake looked the better of the two today, and I think that's the way the camp is unfolded by the way they took reps today. But as Greg Davis says, until you get in the game situation, you never know about a first-time starting quarterback, because a quarterback is not live, meaning that they protect him during practice. They don't protect him during the game. Right. So if it is Jake, Beathard could be in the mix if it doesn't unfold during the game the way they want it to.
I think ultimately the guy that takes care of the football, doesn't put it in harm's way, doesn't put it on the ground, can move the team reliably up and down the field, is going to be the guy who not only is going to win, but is going to be the guy that's going to be able to keep that job moving forward.
Defense kept them in games last year. They have a lot of experience back. Do you feel like that'll be the theme of this year again, solid defense?
Yeah, I think they'll continue to get better. They're going to have a healthy defensive line, which is going to be critical. You look at the linebacking play, they're unbelievable. This is an outstanding group, probably could be one of the best in the conference, at least in the top 2, in my opinion. So when you have players in that front 7 that can step up and make plays, you start to feel good about it. But they're still going to need some guys that can show that they can rush the passer, that can get out there and make plays that command a double team.
And their issue on defense is the opposite or the same, depending on what side you're looking at, as the offense. They're going to support the front 7 with a secondary guy, and the offense is going to try to be explosive against them. And where the defense needs plays to be made is probably in the secondary, which may be the least tested of the 3 groups. So both offense and defense have similar challenge when it comes to explosive plays and stopping explosive plays.
And while they do have a lot of experience back in that front 7, they didn't have a lot of big plays from that group either last year. They were last in the Big Ten in sacks, last in the Big Ten in tackles for loss. Again, plenty more on the Hawkeyes, including our conversations with players and coaches, August 25th on BTN.